This session we will be studying about the rural value chain. As you all know, value chain is not an object that can be seen. It is simply a useful way of understanding how the world of sourcing, producing, buying, selling and servicing things works. In some or the other way, we are all part of the value chain. Maybe as a consumer, producer, processor of goods and services, retailers, finance providers, etc. As consumers, we all consume food, clothes, footwear, medicines, books, etc., which link us strongly with value chain. Chains of grain crops, roots, fruits and vegetables, oils, and textiles, etc. Such value chain can start from the growers and reach out to our kitchens, bedroom, and our day-to-day life. At one end of the rural value chain, we have the producers, the farmers who grow crops and raise animals, and on the other end, we are the consumers who drink, eat, wear, and use the final product. So the rural value chain can be defined as a farm produce reaching the end consumers through different intermediaries. So in the rural value chain, financial institutions, government, and research organizations play a significant role. Financial institutions like bank provide financial support. Government frame laws and policies, and agricultural research organizations work towards developing ways for farmers to enhance their productivity. Then, value chains are all about human interactions. It can be safely said that value chains are all about human interaction. It is about the linkages between people and the businesses who transfer or exchange products, money, knowledge, and information. In an effective value chain, people at different stages of the chain actively support each other. The inherent benefit of a value chain is that everyone in the chain supports everyone else. Everyone does their job more efficiently and everyone's livelihood gets improved. Each person in the chain shares the common goal of satisfying the consumer needs in order to increase their own profits. These are the activities in a typical farming business. First, the inputs are given in the form of seed, fertilizers, and pesticides to the farmer. Then the farmer cultivate it in the agricultural land, and then it is harvested. Then the harvested crops are then transported to the mandi. Then in then those are packed and then again transported to the retailers, and then it finally reaches the consumers. Before going to the overview of the rural value chain, we should know a concept called the dual value chain. Agriculture in our country often has dual value chains operating in parallel for the same product. One is informal or traditional, and the another one is formal. Smallholders are frequently involved in these informal chains that deliver products to local middlemen and then to small local stores. Formal value chain can deliver the same product, usually in a better or uniform quality, from larger farms or more organized groups of small farmers to more commercial wholesalers, and from there it is exported to supermarkets or exporters. This duality has been accompanied by the explosive growth of supermarkets in developing countries. It can limit many small producers to markets characterized by low quality products and low prices and low returns for them. Hence, a frequent concern is to find out ways to integrate the small producers into more modern value chains, both domestic and export oriented. And then we'll be discussing about the overview of the value chain. Uh, at the top, land, labor, water, and technology. It forms an organization which gives knowledge which is used in production and post harvest handling. And then after post harvest, the products are sent for processing, and then after processing again the finished products are then given to the market. In uh, in return, market gives payments to the processing unit, and also some knowledge to the processing unit about the consumer behavior and how the customers are acting. And then the processing unit also gives payment to the production. It also gives knowledge that are acquired from the markets. Then the production and the post harvest handling also gives payment to the land, labor, water and technology. And there is a direct link between the market and the production post harvest handling. That is, market gives the payment, finance and the knowledge to the production post harvest handling. Then these are some rural value chain issues. The first one is poor quality of seeds and varieties inappropriate for various uses. Then the poor quality of product at harvest with grains of inconsistent size and coloration. Then inadequate threshing techniques and post-harvest drying and storage, which reduce the quantity and the market quality. And the fourth one is inadequate grading. And the fifth is insufficient market development and communication with markets regarding varieties and quality of produce desired. Then the sixth and the last one is insufficient training and finance of the improved post-harvest management. Then we will be discussing contract farming. What is contract farming? Under contract farming, the farmer undertakes to supply agreed quantities of a crop or livestock product based on the quality standards and delivery requirements of the purchasers, often at a price that is established in advance. Companies like HUL uh, practice this contract farming. Uh, mm, for example, companies like Unilever operate tea estates and tea processing facilities in Kenya, blend and pack the tea in Europe, and selling it as Lipton, Brook Bond, and Fugitives brand worldwide. Then this is a model of contract farming, uh, where uh, where there are three actors: farmer, agribusiness company, and the bank. Agribusiness company gives supply of inputs and services, knowledge, training, and credit to the farmer. In return, farmer gives supply of of the produce. Then the bank also plays a very important role in this model. Bank gives payment for the input to the agribusiness company, and the agribusiness company uh, re- gives payment for produce to the bank. The bank also gives credit and payment after the deduction of dues to the farmers also. Then we will be discussing about the rural value chain finance. What is the need of rural value chain finance? Rural value chain finance ensures the flow of funds to and within a value chain to meet the needs of different actors for finance. It could be to secure sales, to buy seeds or fertilizers, technology or produce, or to improve efficiency. Then creating such a value chain involves a holistic approach to analyze the chain, those working in it, and their interlinkages. The interlinkages would facilitate financing to flow through the chain. For example, inputs can be provided to the farmers and the cost can be repaid directly when the product is delivered without the need for farmers taking loan from the bank or similar institution. These are very common under the contract farming. So types of rural value chain finance include product financing through trader and input supplier credit, or credit supplied by a market or a credit supplied by a marketing company or a big organization. Now we'll be discussing about the information and communication technology, which plays a very important part, part in promoting the rural value chain efficiency. Increasing affordability of mobile technology is playing a major role in the rapid expansion of rural value chain. Applications can support farmers directly through SMS messages. ICTs are also being used to strengthen the capacity of extension officers and NGO field staff to reach the farmers with timely and accurate information, and at the same time help them to capture the data from the field. We can also take an example of the Grameen Foundation Community Knowledge Worker (CKW). In this, the farmer representatives are trained to use ICT applications on a smartphone to provide agricultural information and extension support. Most market price information is now delivered to farmers through SMS only.